we are currently at 42%, so let's go ahead and let this charge and see how it does. So right now we're getting 60 watts out of the solar, and that's about as good as you're going to get out of a 100-watt panel, and that's only going to happen for maybe a couple hours a day at best. Gonna go fishing, Mikey. Yeah. Mikey, hey Mikey, Mikey.
Gonna go fishing. You grabbed the road soda, didn't you?
Yeah.
I guess I gotta grab a couple more.
Alright, we're here. We're gonna go some fishing. We're gonna do some fishing. And there's our campsite right up in that direction. You can see Jay's trailer right there. So we're over here. But you can't really see us because we're blocked by somebody. But we're in that direction anyway. Well, you guys are fishing down there?
Anywhere.
All right, fine. So again, this is Rock Creek, Iowa. This is a nice little campground, again, with power for $20 a night. What'd you get?
Bullhead.
So I discovered apparently I left my awning light on all night, so that consumed power as well. Alright, so you see how bright it is outside, but at this point the whopping 100-watt solar panel is only putting in 0.5 amps. So at this point in time, all it's making it basically to the battery, because the battery, even though it's disconnected, like I said, you still have the battery monitor taking up some amperage there. All that we're getting right now is roughly 4 watts. So what we really got in wattage about today from solar was maybe about 200 watts all day long. That's the most that we charged the battery. If I had these batteries completely charged, which they were only at about 70%, so I've got to fix that so that they're charged before I head out on the trip. So say we were able to actually have the battery at 100% when we start our trip. And so say we're 100%, the vehicle's charged the battery, solar's charged the battery, it was plugged into Shoreline at our house, so when we get to our campsite or a destination, we're at 100%. We use about 20% a day. If you're conservative, you might be able to use 10% a day. So 2 Battleborn batteries would get you 5 to 10 days. That's actually pretty good. But again, don't count on the solar. An inverter is nice, good batteries are nice, just get a generator. You could carry around a bunch of panels, or have 3 gallons of gas on the front of your camper, and you could literally run that generator, as I've mentioned in other videos. You could run that generator for basically 30 days on 3 gallons of gas for 1 hour a day and get as much power as this solar panel, probably 2 or 3 of these solar panels would get in a day. So why have all the different things to carry with you? Why have, 3, 4 big panels? Why do all that if you're going to get no more power out of it? Not to mention, if you need air conditioning, you're not getting that off a solar panel. With a generator, you could crank up more power, and at least power things that actually consume power. And worst case scenario is you just run out and get more fuel, right? Alright, we're going to get ready for dinner tonight, and of course I got my Camp Chef all out. One thing I decided to do this time, which I haven't done before, was go ahead and level it. Being as I have a level, and I have the adjustable feet for it, I might as well level it. Let's see if that helps. However, one thing I forgot to get, one of my YouTube subscribers mentioned to use avocado oil because it has a different burn off temperature. It won't smoke as bad and burn off as easily. It's a higher temp. I wanted to do that. I didn't get any. We were running way behind for this, so ill prepared. So I didn't get any, so I guess I'm going to just use olive oil this time around too. But I really want to try that. But maybe we'll get it in our next trip at Door County. This is just one of these plastic doorknob protectors that you put on a sheetrock wall. I bought it at Walmart. There's no damage behind this, but I got it before there was any damage on my door to play it safe and put it right there.
What?
So that if this door gets slammed open, I'm not poking a hole in it from this shelf. So it's worked out really well. It just adhered to it. It's been on there for at least a year out in the weather, on road trips, on the travels and everything with no issue. So yeah, I would just do something like that. Mix a nice protector so that you don't feel sorry for yourself when you've poked a big giant hole in your door from having this shelf out.
There you go. Come on. You won't want to go inside.
Are you cooking it?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Are you burning it or are you cooking it? Are you cooking it or are you burning it?
I'm burning it and the dang dog. Brody, sit.
Do you need to eat all the dog?
No. Come here. You're okay. Sit. No. Good boy. Dave.
They're out of control. So at this point, I'm not really even attempting to conserve power. We leave tomorrow. We already know this is going to get us easily through the night. I've got all my lights on so I can see, playing some music, streaming through Alexa, just having fun. We know we've got enough power, so it doesn't really matter. But we've never ran off the store power at all this trip.
There's mushrooms on that plate.
How you doing in there, Robin?
Fine.
Ah, fine. All right, got my griddle all seasoned, all ready for everything put away for the night. We are going to watch a movie. So now that I've been completely inefficient running every light, running everything, running the inverter, let's see where we are at for power. I am sure we have squandered it, but that's okay. Basically, this was too short of a test. Wow, we're only down to 46%. We were about roughly 52, we used 6%. Right now we're using 116 watts with the inverter going. It's a no-brainer. If you have two of these batteries, you pretty well could be very non-conservative on your use of energy, and they're going to get you through 2 days without an issue. Again, we only started at a little over 70%, we're at 46%. So we haven't even used half of the power we started with. So we'll get through tomorrow just fine. Alright, so here it is Sunday, our last day. So last night we ran the heater, 70 degrees, again having a real thermostat. Really makes things much nicer. So at some point we wanted it a little cooler, so we set it to 68, but we also turned the hurricane fan on, which is that. And so we actually ran the inverter pretty much half the night with this fan going, which is not the most efficient means of consuming power. Also this morning my laptop had finally ran out of battery, so I have charged it. Just a note, if you want to do boondocking and stuff and you need to have a computer for work or whatever, get a laptop that's solid state through and through. You could get a cheap Windows laptop, for example, that has a solid state drive in it. I, however, wanted to have performance, and so the new Mac M1, this thing, I edit all my videos on it. It runs circles around my i9 I used to have. It's just so fast, and it uses like 75 watts of power. That's it. It does have a fan that kicks on when you're editing, but I mean 75 watts of power is nothing. Anyway, I didn't edit videos this weekend, but I did have to finally charge it. It was not charged since Friday evening. It's now Sunday morning. I finally had to charge the thing because it was finally getting almost empty. So, you know, if you're really thinking about boondocking and you need a laptop and you need performance, just get a Apple M1. I tell you what, you're going to hardly consume any power and you're going to get the performance you need for most things, including video editing. We're bringing in about 41 watts at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and turn boost mode on because it is about noon to get a little bit of extra charge, and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery so we can get it a little more charge in here, see where this is at before we leave. But at this point we have 11% left, and I did not try to conserve energy on this trip. I enjoyed this trip. Like I said, we ran an AC fan, which is not conserving energy. So having 2 Battleborns will easily get you through a weekend. I got to figure out why I started with 70% and not 100%. Well, I know why, but I'll have to address that. Our next trip is going to be to a park that has no power in Door County, and that's going to really allow me to test it for a 4-day trip. So actually this test is going to go take a little bit sideways. It's about 80 degrees. Robin's complaining she's too hot. So this is an example where solar wouldn't cover you anyway. Now, I didn't bring a generator, but we do actually have shore power we can connect to. So this would be a situation where we would crank up the generator. So I'm going to go ahead and plug into shore power, and we'll just let that run until we go, and we'll see where the battery's at within that time. It is right now 11:57. So I am not going to disconnect the batteries. I'm going to go ahead and connect to shore power. Let's see where we're at by the time we check out of here, and Robin can have AC in the meantime. Alright, so here we are right now. I am getting about 14 amps, 14.3 amps going into the battery. That's plugged into shore power and solar. We know that the converter on this trailer will do about 10 amps until it gets closer to being charged, which it thinks is at 13.2 volts. So that's where we're at right now, and so we're putting 186 watts into the trailer at this moment. Alright, so here's a quick update. So as you can see, once we get over the 13.2, it really starts slowing down what it can put in from the converter. See, we're getting 4.6 amps from solar at this moment, but all that's going into the camper at this point in time is 10.28. So now, like I said, if I had a lithium charger in line with this as well, then we would have that lithium charger would still continue to charge regardless of where this level is at the 13.2 volts. What's happening is the converter is now putting out much less amperage because it thinks these batteries are getting close to charged. It's only designed for lead acid batteries. But at this point, even though we got some lights on in here and stuff like that, the converter is still giving more power than what we get from solar. What you would have to do is watch this. When you see the total power going in is less than what you get off solar, which will happen because the converter will stop providing power even for your DC appliances once you get to a certain voltage on your battery. So what happens is you're actually using your solar to then power your DC appliances, and not all the power from solar is going to your battery. I hope that made sense. So basically you could just watch the charge state if you don't have an extra lithium charger in the system like what I want to add. And once you start seeing that you're getting less charge going to your battery than what your solar could even produce, then you know that your converter's done. Your converter's not helping anymore. So it's best just to disconnect the battery from the circuit, let solar connect to it directly. All your DC lights like this will then be powered just from the converter and not be sucking from your battery, and your battery will be able to get its full charge from the solar panel, whatever you're getting at the point. Just be aware of that. So we have already gained, we were about, I think it was at 11%, we're now up to 26% charged. It is 235. So we basically bumped it up about 15% in 2.5 hours. So in a 5-hour charge, we would have got an additional 30%. Another thing I wanted to show you is, as I mentioned when I did the battery installation video, I was losing this space because I had to put these batteries in here, and I still needed to have some space for the chairs. The advantage was this space here, I had a box, but I really didn't store much in it. I didn't need the space. It was more for a shelf to line up with the Camp Chef stove that's on the other end there. You can see that. Well, the batteries end up being that shelf, but I don't want to sit the chairs right on top of it. So I ordered this off Amazon, and it's a 14 by 19, I think. Just a serving tray. I put some of this padding on here so that it's not sitting directly on top of the battery. There you go. There's my shelf. And Now I can neatly stack my chairs back in here. All right, there it is. Inadvertently, someone here this weekend must have grabbed one of my chairs thinking it was theirs and took it with them. So I'm missing a chair, but you could fit 2 of those fold-up chairs, and then this recliner chair easily will still fit in here. And I just use this as a little shelf to protect the battery. Works out just fine.